Who needs to count you out when your consistent decisions every single day to go against your success is what's counting you out all by yourself? You see, to be the underdog is less about the adversity that you're going through, but more so about your response to it. And so if you want to cross that stage with confidence, you're gonna have to start making small decisions every single day to shift yourself, to shift your family, to shift your community, and ultimately live in your purpose. Let's get it.
Honey.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Chadijah Williams, aka Dijah Speaks, and welcome to episode 3 of Purpose Driven People, Student Edition. And listen, I hope that you have truly been enjoying the last couple of videos where I've been talking through my book, Bruh, I Just Want to Graduate. You've said something like that before, right? Yeah, I know. And I just wanted you all to know that your grades don't matter as long as your mindset is in the right place. Because as long as wherever your mind is, the body will follow. And so if your mindset is in the right place and you have a healthy self-image and you are truly getting to the bottom of the conversation you have with yourself about yourself and your capabilities, everything else in your academic and your personal life will go up. Trust me. And today I want to talk to you about the U in that purpose acronym, and it's going to be called underdog. Listen, when you hear that word underdog, you are always thinking about someone who succeeds in spite of being expected to be unsuccessful. And so if you're anything like me, you're going to have to be an underdog in life. I mean, like, I was that student who was counted out, y'all. Like, I was that student who everybody thought I was either going to be dead or in jail. Like, I was that student who frequently skipped. I was that student who was always in ISS. I'm talking about I walk in the ISS room and they like, oh, snap, Khadijah back. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I know exactly what it feels like, what it means to embody the mindset and the life of an underdog. I spent half of my high school career playing around, failing, doing drugs, skipping class, and doing all these other ratchet things, right? And so I'm making this video and I'm doing this series so that I can stop you from doing the same thing and ultimately crossing that stage with confidence, right? And so when you think about the underdog, again, it's that person who everybody's looking at, that person that everybody sees their life, the production of what they're doing. They see them grades, they see your attitude, and they automatically count you out to fall into destruction, right? But I want to create this video to help you to embody what the underdog is and make all them naysayers shut up. You feel me? And so when we think about the underdog, I want you to put the mind of David and Goliath in your mind. David and Goliath is a biblical narrative that I'm sure you've heard before. And if not, I'm going to give you the Dijah version. You feel me? And it's simply about a young man named David who was from this land called Israel in the Bible. He had to fight this big giant who came from this land of the Philistines. And he was like this big dude. I'm talking about real intimidating, real, you know what I'm saying? He was a big dude. And you would almost think that because David was the youngest and the smallest of all of his brothers, that when it come to fighting this big old giant who's probably about 9 feet tall, you know what I'm saying, 1,000 pounds, right? That he wouldn't be able to win that fight. But the story goes on to say about how as David was headed to when he heard about Goliath wanting to threaten the land of Israel, basically saying, hey, find somebody who can beat me. And if they can't, Philistines gonna rule over Israel. And if they can, then the opposite is also true, where Israel get to rule over the Philistines, right? And so when David got this news, there was a couple things I want to point out to you in this story that truly stuck with me, right? When David was headed to fight Goliath, he faced a couple oppositions. He faced some true adversity. The first thing that happened was his brothers came to him, told him about what Goliath said, and they came to him in fear. The people who he grew up with, the people who he was raised in the house with, counted him out and told him what he was capable of not doing, right? And so he's like, man, I don't care what y'all talk about. I got to go to this fight. And as he get down there, right, he has the king who was already in place, who he was actually going to take his place at some point. The king was his mentor, who was, you know what I'm saying, who he was going to be that king's protege to some degree, right? The king started talking him out like, hey, David, like, yo, my man, like, you sure this is what you want to do, right? So even he had like his mentor doubting him. And then not only that, he had the people who were, you know what I'm saying, who were fighting with him in battle on a regular basis who doubted him as well. And so he's headed to go, you know what I'm saying, basically fight for the freedom of where he's from. He faces 3 oppositions from 3 different groups of people that were close to him, right? He goes down there to the fight. Goliath talking big noise. I'm talking about the Goliath talking big noise, right? About what he gonna do, what David not gonna do, and all this, right? He got this sword and his shield. Hold on, I need you to do me a big favor before you continue watching the video, because I know you are enjoying it. Please hit that thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel, and please hit the notification bell so that you could be the first to know when weekly episodes drop. Thank you in advance. I'm talking about Goliath think he about to go off, right? And so all David does, he pull out a slingshot with 5 pebbles up in there. 5 rocks, y'all. Now, that's almost like bringing a water gun to a knife fight. You feel me? Like, from the looks of it, from all the people that's doubting him, from all the people that are in fear around him, right? And for all the people who weren't capable or even willing to fight the battle that he just willingly threw himself into, he kneeled down, he prayed, he asked the Lord to help him to slay this uncircumcised Philistine, right? And so the story goes on to say that with one, sling, he killed Goliath, cut his head off, and rode through the city in victory. So what I wanted to point out to you in this story is that David was the guy who was automatically counted out because of his stature, because of who he was, by his mentors, by his brothers, and from the people he was working with on the daily basis, right? But yet with courage, he still went down to the fight to fight somebody who was, I'm talking about, people can look at that battle and automatically believe that he was going to lose. And so here's what I'm saying. There's some adversities in your life that you probably think that you're not going to get out of. There's some adversities at home where you like, man, ain't no way I can be successful. And neither one of my parents graduated high school. Neither one of my parents graduated college. There's no way I can be successful. And all of these things happened to me in my childhood. I don't think I'm smart enough. I don't think I have the capabilities to obtain success. Listen, if you take on the mindset of David and actually become the underdog, there's some things that you'll be able to do in your life that you never thought you can do. Check me out, y'all. I'm the author of a couple books, and I used to fail English all the time. People would look at my grades and probably say, oh, Khadijah never be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give you 3 simple things that you can start doing today to not only tap into the underdog within, but to overcome any adversity that you think is stopping you from obtaining success. Number 1, when it comes to things that you fear, or when it comes to adversity, you're going to have to respond in courage and not respond in fear. Period. One thing that I love about what David did is that he didn't allow other people's projecting their fear on him to become his own emotion. He understood that he had a spiritual backing behind him, like God was backing him up. So therefore, there wasn't anything that Goliath could do or what anybody could say that could talk him out of obtaining the victory in this very present and very loud, intimidating adversity. You understand what I'm saying? And so the next time an adversity comes to you, you need to respond in courage and not respond in fear. Understand and know that fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision. I don't want you to be a slave to the things that are so intimidating, or be a slave to things that you believe that you don't have a way to get out of. You understand what I'm saying? And so if you're going to be the underdog, I want you to respond to your adversity in courage and not in fear. Number 2, I want you to change the story that your adversity is telling you. Oftentimes, when we're facing something that's big, that's important, that's that's really, really challenging for us, oftentimes there's a narrative that we give ourselves that says we cannot do it. And so what I want you to do the next time that adversity comes knocking on the door of your mind, I want you to start speaking against it. Anytime those fears start to come up, you speak opposite to it, so that you can start changing the narrative that you are telling yourself about the current challenge. Number 3, avoid conversations with fearful people. One of the things that I love that David did when it came to all the people that were coming to him with all this fearful news and these already predetermined destinations of whether he was going to win this fight or not, he never entertained the conversations. Sometimes, your ear is a gate to your mind, right? So sometimes you could be having conversations with people about things that you want to do, some of the amazing things you want to do with your future and your life, and they will begin to speak negatively against it because they're filtering your goals from their perception. And so one of the things that I had to adopt whenever I wanted to do something different with my life that's never been seen before in my family, in my community, I never entertained conversations with negative people. I never entertained it, because I can recognize if I sit in that environment too long and I allow that conversation to really get into my head, I'll start being just like the people who are scared to do what it is that God called me to do. You understand what I'm saying? And so it got to a point where when I was preparing for college, I had burned so many bridges. It was only a couple people in the school who I could get recommendations letters from to go to college, right? And so I went to all these teachers who I disrespected, and they all told me no, they would not give me a recommendation letter. But then there was that one lady in the office who I used to sweet talk who was able to do it for me, right? And I made a vow to myself that if I got out of my hometown and I went on to do things that's never been done before in my family, that I never turn back to all the old things that I was doing. And that's exactly what happened. So listen, y'all, I want you to adopt the mindset of the underdog, because I know that you can make it. If Chadijah can do it, I know you can do it. And so listen, I don't just want you to cross that stage with confidence, but I want you to cross every level in your life with confidence. And you cannot do it unless you be the one who succeeds, expecting to be unsuccessful. Let's get it.